Welcome to September. Well, almost. Today we are talking about the new books releasing throughout the month of September, from fantasy, sci-fi, romantasies. Each week there are several new book releases, and I have compiled my list of the ones that I'm most excited about and some that I know many of you are going to be looking to grab as well. Hello, I'm Morgan. If this is your first time here, I'm going to put timestamps per week. I think it's how I decided on it in July, because I completely missed the August window, so it's been like 2 months now, and I don't remember. I also don't remember if I already said my name in this take, so diving right into the releases on September 2nd, we have a fantasy called A Land So Wild by Aaron A. Craig. Like everyone else in the settlement of Mistaken, Greer Mackenzie is trapped. Founded by an ambitious lumber merchant, the village is blessed with rich natural resources that have made its people prosperous, but at a cost. The same woods that have lined the townsfolk's pocket harbor dangerous beasts, wolves, bears, and the Bright Eyes. Monsters beyond description who have rained utter destruction down on the nearby settlements. But Mistaken's founders made a deal with the mysterious benevolence. The warding stones that surround the town will keep the Bright Eyes out, and the town's citizens in. Anyone who spends a night within Mistaken's borders belongs to it forever. And in this one, though, we are following Greer, who is a map maker, and I do believe it's on the eve of her wedding, because her and her longtime love, Elias Beaufort, yes, they're finally meant to start their lives together, but she watches as her beloved disappears beyond the rewarding stones, and something chases him. So, of course, she sets off to find him and uncovers lots of horrors and truths in the woods. Then we have the start of a new series, The Shattered King by Charlie N. Holmberg. The kingdom of Kinsir is on the brink of war. Young men are conscripted from their homes, and a royal decree from the queen has made the healing of the only legal form of craft lock. Nim, a healer and beekeeper, is the sole provider for her family of 7 now that her younger brother has been sent to the war front. But then a letter from the queen summoning Nim to the palace to heal Prince Rin, the kingdom's ailing shut-in, comes. In a moment of connection with Prince Rin, Nim manages to remedy the faintest symptom of his ailment, only to discover that no healer before her has made such progress. Forced to become the prince's official healer and a ward of the castle, with her only hope for returning to her family hinging on the prince's recovery, Nim must navigate the castle's cruel and twisted court and uncover the haunting truth behind Prince Rin's illness, even as she finds herself irrevocably drawn to him. This one also definitely toes the line at romantasy. This one might be a novella or short story. I don't quite remember the page length, and now she's moving, so the camera is moving. Sunshine is laying right there on the desk. It's not the best idea, but she didn't want to move, so we compromised that she could stay, and the camera and monitor would just shift. Making History by K.J. Parker. History isn't truth, it's propaganda. Seeking war with his neighbor, the tyrannical ruler of Alia, convenes several of his kingdom's professors for a chat. First, Citizen Guys only just invaded Alia a few years back, and naturally, his public image can't take the hit of another unjustified assault. His totally sane solution? Simple, really. These scholars must construct a fake ancient city from scratch to verify... what did I say his name was? Guys? Apocryphal claims? That is I don't know what that word is. Now these academics must put their heads together to make history, because if they don't, they'll lose their heads altogether. I'm going to put how his name is spelled and this word that I butchered. Concluding this week is our romantasy, Wild Reverence by Rebecca Ross. This is still supposed to be taking place within the world that she has already started with the Divine Rivals series, but this one is adult and full romantasy. And it has the 2 characters, one of which being a lower goddess, and then the other one being a noble who met her in his dreams. He doesn't believe in anybody or anything anymore, though after she didn't answer his plea. I did not get the whole description because while reading it, I'm not sure that it would be a spoiler for anything that happens like in the second book. We move on to September 9th and start out with fiction. The 6th book in the series, I believe, Secret of Secrets by Dan Brown, part of the Robert Langdon series that started with Angels and Demons. Robert Langdon, esteemed professor of symbology, travels to Prague to attend a groundbreaking lecture by Catherine Solomon. Catherine is on the verge of publishing an explosive book that contains startling discoveries about the nature of human consciousness and threatens to disrupt centuries of established belief. And as usual, there will be people trying to stop them, secret organizations, secrets buried and hidden, unfolding. Next up, we have a thriller horror. We'll have to see which one it leans into more, and I'm sorry, I'm probably about to mispronounce the author's name. The Macabre by Kosuko Jackson. A picture is worth 1,000 nightmares. Art has always been an escape for struggling painter Lewis Dixon, but other than his mom, who has recently passed away, no one has ever praised his work. If he's being honest, there's really no one in his life, so he is shocked when the British Museum shows an unusual interest in his art. This is his chance to show the world what he's capable of. He just has no idea that it might also be saving the world at the same time. Because maybe he can see dark magic things in art. For fantasy this week, we have A Tangle of Time by Josiah Bancroft, the second in the Hexologist series. The Hexologist, Iz and Warren Willoughby, are quite accustomed to helping desperate clients with bugbears of city life. Aided by hexes and a bag of charmed relics, the Willoughbys have recovered children, abducted chimney wraiths, removed infestations of barbed-nosed incubi, and ventured into the gray plains of the unmade to soothe a troubled ghost. Well acquainted with the weird, they never shy away from a challenging case. The first one sounds really interesting. I still haven't been able to read this yet, and so I can't pin down if it's just like urban fantasy or historical urban fantasy. I mean, based off the look of it, it definitely doesn't look modern. Hopefully the camera position didn't change too much as sunshine adjusted around it. We're moving to September 16th releases. The first up is a sci-fi called The Shattering Place by John Scalzi. This is book 7 in the Old Man's War series. In this one, Earths and humans have already gone out into the wider universe, so intergalactic travel is available. We've discovered we're not the only ones, and that most of the planets are somewhat inhospitable and are now fighting a very long war. The soldiers, though, for this war are people 75 and older, so once you reach retirement age, or I think 75 is the youngest you can sign up for it, you can sign up to join, is it CFR? Interstellar Military, that they only have the recruiters here on Earth to sign you up and take you through the process of it. And then you're transported off planet and you remain off planet for the rest of your time. So nobody on Earth actually has any idea how they extend your life, what goes through that process. But we are following our main character, whose name I did not write down, but it is his 75th birthday. He and his wife had said when they turned 75, they would go join and sign up together. Now, unfortunately, she did pass before him, and he's just saying his goodbyes to his son, and now he's gone to sign up for that, and it is his story as he is first signing up, first realizing like really what all of this is and how he feels about it and how they do things. Another sci-fi is actually the conclusion of a trilogy. That would be the Rageous trilogy, The Enduring Universe by Kritika, I'm so sorry, H. Rao. All of these covers too, every single book in this series has been stunning. And this is slightly post-apocalyptic sci-fi things, and they all sound so good. I need to get to these books. High above a jungle planet float the last refugees of humanity, plant-made civilizations held together by tradition, technology, and arcane science. Here, architects are revered deeply, with humanity's survival reliant on a privileged few. If not for their abilities, the cities would plunge into the devastating earth rage storms below. And you're following a husband and wife in one of these sorts of flying foliage cities. The husband is an architect, so somebody maintaining that, and his wife, though, is an archaeologist, if I believe right. And in the first book, they go down to the surface to investigate something, and apparently their marriage has been a bit rocky at that point. But yes, things ensue. So beautiful cover, intriguing description, all the aspects that sound like it's right up my alley. and yet I still haven't picked it up. A fantasy that several people might be looking forward to this week is Among the Burning Flowers by Samantha Shannon. This is prequel 2 in the Roots of Chaos series. This one, unlike the other two though, this one is only 288 pages. So very short compared to the massive tomes that the other two books are. And I'm not sure where in the timeline of this it is supposed to take place, but it does say it's book 0.2, so that means it would take place after the night of. But if you are interested in the Priory of the Orange Tree series, this is also supposed to follow some favorite side characters that you might be intrigued about. A romance coming out this week is book 5 in the Dream Harbor series, The Gingerbread Bakery by Laurie Gilmore. As the owner of her beloved gingerbread bakery, Annie Andrews should have a love life to match her business, sugary and sweet, but instead she's locked in a game of words with the irritatingly upbeat bar owner down the street. Max Sullivan has everything he wants, except the girl of his dreams. It's easier to argue with Annie than to get her to talk to him. Oh, that would be a spoiler, can't say that part. As the snowflakes fall and romance is in the air, will Annie see that the one she loves to hate might be her perfect match after all? Sunshine! Okay, I have debated starting this. I think I might start this. But when looking this one up, I saw the Goodreads ratings and they are not great. Like the average star rating, not great. But maybe it's just a fun, light fluff time. And that's always okay sometime too. We can hope. For the week of September 23rd, there are some big ones. One that I've been waiting months for. We start with romance, though. Tourist Season by Brianne Weaver. This is the first of her Seasons of Carnage trilogy, which starts a new one after, I don't remember what the last one was called. But interesting does this sound? Yes. Welcome to Cape Carnage. Visit once, stay forever. Cape Carnage is a seaside town with colorful houses, quirky shops, and an unusually high body count. With tourists comes trouble, and Harper Starling won't let anyone ruin her picture-perfect home. A skilled gardener with killer instincts, Harper protects her sanctuary and her aging mentor with a fading memory at any cost. Troublesome tourists don't check out of Carnage. They compost beneath Harper's award-winning flower beds. But Nolan Rhodes isn't your average tourist. Devastatingly handsome, disarmingly charming, and skilled with a blade, Nolan is relentless in his pursuit of revenge. On every anniversary of the hit-and-run accident that fractured his life, Nolan slays another target, and he saved the best for last, the undeniably beautiful Harper Starling. The problem? Harper isn't the monster he expected, and she won't go down without a fight. I don't know why it sounds so good, but it's just, I guess, like kind of the way her other books sounded so amusingly good. Our next romantasy, I am very excited for, and I know I need to temper that before I read it. Alchemized by Sin-Lin Yu. Maybe I said her name right. Once a promising alchemist, Helena Morano is now a prisoner of war and of her own mind. Her resistance friends and allies have been brutally murdered, her abilities suppressed, and the world she knew destroyed. In the aftermath of a long war, Paldea's new ruling class of corrupt guild families and depraved necromancers, those vile undead creatures helped bring about the victory, holds Helena captive. According to Resistance records, she was a healer of little importance within their ranks, but Helena has inexplicable memory loss of the months leading up to her capture, making her enemies wonder, is she truly as insignificant as she appears, or are her lost memories hiding some vital piece of the Resistance's final gambit? Of course, this one will probably have lots and lots of trigger warnings. It deals into alchemy, though, as part of its magic system, and obviously we have necromancers. And I'm excited to see how they took this spin on it, creating this whole world for the Trad Publishing debut of it. Then we have book 6 in the Blood and Ash series. I wondered if this was the last one, but it's supposed to be an 8-book series. I've still only read book 1. But for those of you continuing to love and want to dive in and find out more and more about the series, The Primal of Blood and Bone by Jennifer L. Armentrout is coming out this week. And I believe we're still following Poppy. I didn't read the description for this one at all because it would be major spoilers. And I said no. But If you love the Blood and Ash series, this book is coming out this week. Apparently, when I noticed that I accidentally separated the romanticies on this day, and I was like, I'll just come back to the fantasies and just do the romanticies together, I forgot. I forgot to come back to the fantasies for the 23rd. Those would be such a shame, because Book 7 of the Dungeon Crawler Carl series is getting Trad Publishing this week. That is This Inevitable Ruin by Matt Denneman. This series is, of course, still following Carl as he had entered the dungeon when aliens came to our world, said it was theirs now, and smushed everything. In order to win back our planet, we have to get to and complete the 18th level of this world dungeon in a game show sort of fashion, as it is being broadcast to the entire universe. This is a very normal thing that the syndicate governments do all throughout the universe. It's not just us. And as we are learning more about the wider universe, politics and governments and just craziness, and of course the star of the show is Carl's Persian cat, who was a prize show-winning cat, and now, due to events in the dungeon, she can speak, and Princess Donut is a star character. She is the best, and also we see a lot of character development through her. We get to know Carl more, but Princess Donut's character development, top tier. I love Princess Donut. So if you were picking up the hardback books with the newer covers, that one is coming out this week. Also, the conclusion of the Charlatan duology, Thief of Night by Holly Black. This was Holly Black's adult debut series with Book of Night. The series is following Charlie, though, in this urban fantasy world. It's in a city in the northern U.S., because I think there's snow and stuff. In this, though, there is a sort of shadow magic. There's other forms of magic as well. And Charlie had kind of gotten involved in some bad things earlier in life, but now she's trying to just be on the straight and narrow. This is complicated, though, where she works, I believe, just as a bartender at a bar that still deals with sort of a nefarious crowd. And also by her shadowless boyfriend. That is somehow also a thing that makes it kind of edgy, because he wants, to have a shadow again. I think his shadow got taken. And her sister, her younger sister, who wants more than anything to have magic. So she does very risky things. And because of this love for her sister, trying to take care of her sister, it kind of puts Charlie in a hard position, having to toe the line and get back involved with this shady underworld criminal activities that she doesn't want to be a part of anymore. But she has to save the one she loves. And it was a weird-ish story. Since it's a duology, though, I will be reading Thief of Night to see how the conclusion goes and how we all wrap up. Our final week of September, coming out on the 30th, starts us off in fantasy with 2 continuing series. What Stalks the Deep by T. Kingfisher is the 3rd book in the Sworn Soldier series that's following Alex Easton. A retired soldier receives word that their childhood friend Madeline Usher is dying. They race to the ancestral home of the Ushers in the remote countryside of Ruritania. There's fungal growths, possess wildlife, and a dark pulsing lake. Okay, I mean the covers does look like it would say that. Hi, Sunshine. So if you are a fan of these, they all do seem to be smaller works, like a series of novellas, which that's pretty cool on its own. Then book 8 in the Green Rider series is coming out this week, Falling in a Sea of Stars by Kristen Britton. The first book stars a young heroine, Kerrigan, hardly has time to regret being expelled from school for dueling before finding herself committed to the desperate errand of a murdered Green Rider. The Riders are an elite messenger corps using both horses and magic. The message is a terrible warning. I've never started this series either, but I know several people who do love it. For YA fantasy, we have The Sleepless by Jen Williams. Welcome to a world where gods and monsters roam the earth. Elvar is the guardian of the wild and dangerous monster forest. Saved from the brink of death by a god, her skin will poison anyone she touches. Artir is on a mission, one that takes him face to face with Elvar at her most ruthless, but her defenses are useless when she discovers he is the only human impervious to her deadly gift. For Artir isn't human, he's one of the sleepless, cursed to share his body with an evil spirit. Lucian inhabits their body while Artir sleeps, and he is hell-bent on manipulating Elvar for his dark purposes. But Elvar is harboring secrets too, and she has her own reasons for feigning their alliance with these two souls. So I liked Jen Williams' other book, the Willowing Flame Trilogy. I'm excited to see how she will take on this spin. We end the month on a sci-fi. This is another author whose works I have really enjoyed before, so I have high hope for this one. Salt Crop by Yumi Kitase. In Earth's not-too-distant future, seas consume coastal cities, highways disintegrate underwater, and mutant fish lurk in pirate-controlled depths. Skipper, a skilled sailor and the youngest of 3 sisters, earns money skimming and reselling plastic from the ocean to care for her ailing grandmother. But then her eldest sister Nora goes missing. Nora left home a decade ago in pursuit of a cure for failing crops all over the world. When Skipper and her other sister Carmen receive a cryptic plea for help, they must put aside their differences and set out across the sea to find and save her. As they voyage through a dying world, both beautiful and strange, encountering other travelers along the way, they learn more about their sister's work and the corporations that want what she discovered. I can't wait till I have time to be able to read that one because it sounds very, very intriguing. Like a lot of her other works with the thoughts and stuff that it brings to mind of them. Those are all the ones on my list, though, for this month. I would love to know if there's any other ones that you're really excited for, but hopefully you found some that you're going to want to pick up now in September, or, just add to your ever-growing TBR pile like I'm doing. I hope you're having an excellent day, finding something great to read, and I will see you in the next one.